The spooky and spectacular story of Halloween. On the crisp night of October 31st, the world lights up with orange jack-o'-lanterns, costumed teens tramping door-to-door shouting, "Trick or treat," haunted house tours, and parties where ghosts and ghouls and pop culture icons mingle. But behind the fun lies a rich tapestry of ancient beliefs, seasonal rituals and cultural remixing that help turn Halloween from a regional folk practice into a global phenomenon. From harvest's end to spirit season. The roots of Halloween reach back to the Celtic festival of Samhain. Pronounced Samhain, celebrated about 2,000 years ago in what is now Ireland, Scotland and northern France. Samhain marked the end of the harvest and the beginning of the dark half of the year, the onset of long nights, cold, and uncertainty. Because the Celts believed that on the night before their new year, around November 1st, the boundary between the living and dead grew thin, they lit sacred bonfires, offered food to spirits and wore animal skins or masks to confuse wandering ghosts. These practices appear eerie today, but they were rooted in survival mode. Marking a turning point in the year, managing fear of the dark, and honoring ancestors. Rituals that weren't just for fun. Even in ancient times, Halloween ancestors had meaning beyond costumes. Bonfires. Communities gathered to burn past leftovers, share food, and reignite hearth fires from the communal flame, a symbol of purification and protection. Costumes and disguises. Wearing animal skins or masks helped people blend in with or ward off spirits. The idea survives in our modern dress-up. Divination games. Apples, mirrors, and other objects were used to predict the future, who you might marry, whether you'd succeed in the coming winter. In short, what now might feel like light-hearted fun once had heavy symbolism. Over the centuries, as Christianity spread into Celtic lands, the old Samhain rituals were integrated or reinterpreted. For example, November 1st was designated as All Saints' Day. All Hallows, and the evening before became known as All Hallows' Eve, eventually Halloween. As time marched on, many of the darker or superstitious elements were softened. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries in the US, Halloween became more of a community fun holiday, neighbors, costumes, parties. The rise of trick-or-treating, jack-o'-lanterns and candy. Some of the signature practices you now know had interesting journeys. The carved lantern tradition started in Ireland and Scotland with turnips and beets. To ward off evil or represent spirits, and then, when Irish immigrants came to the US, pumpkins, native to North America, became the go-to carving medium. Trick-or-treating has roots in the medieval souling and guising traditions, poor folks or children going door-to-door, offering prayers or songs in exchange for food or money. As commercial and popular culture grew, in the US especially, Halloween became a major seasonal event, decorations, costumes, candy, parties. Why did Halloween become global? What made the leap from local Celtic European customs to a worldwide cultural event? A few factors. Immigration. European, especially Irish and Scottish, immigrants to North America brought many Halloween customs. Commercialization and media. As Halloween became family-friendly and fun, rather than strictly ritual, it was packaged by commercial entities, costumes, candy, decorations, which helped spread awareness. Pop culture and connectivity. Movies, television, social media highlighted Halloween imagery and tropes, haunted houses, horror themes, dress-up, which made the holiday attractive beyond its original cultural boundary. Adaptability. Halloween is flexible, scary or silly, spiritual or secular, that makes it easy to adopt in different cultures. Globalization of celebration. With increasing cultural exchange and influence from US pop culture, many countries now mark October 31st with varying degrees of enthusiasm, even if their traditions differ. Customs and rituals you might do, and why they make sense. Here are some fun Halloween customs with a twist of meaning. Carving a jack-o'-lantern. Beyond being fun, it echoes the ancient idea of lighting the dark, warding off unwanted spirits, or just spooking your neighbors. Dressing up in costumes. at its root a disguise to confuse spirits or mark a boundary-blurring night, now simply a chance to become someone, or something, else for a while. Trick-or-treating, collecting sweets is fun, historically, a recognition of communal generosity or exchanging blessings or songs for food. Apple bobbing or fortune games, these survive the divination games of old, just more playful now instead of solemn. Bonfires and candles, lighting candles or small fires still taps into the light-in-the-dark theme of old Samhain rituals. The takeaway, why it still appeals. For both adults and teenagers, Halloween works on many levels. It lets us step outside our everyday selves, costumes, roleplay, and explore identity, fear and fun. It taps into universal themes, end of harvest, transition into darkness, remembering the dead, community bonding. It's socially inclusive, fun for kids, treats, parties for teens and adults, dress up, horror themes, nostalgic for older folks, remembering childhood Halloweens. It combines the spooky and the silly, which makes it perfect for pop culture, photos, social media, escapism. It bridges the ancient and modern, you're participating, in your own way, in a tradition that spans millennia, even if you just carve a pumpkin and binge horror films. Halloween isn't just a night for candy and costumes, though it certainly is that. It is the echo of ancient rituals marking the end of one season and the beginning of another, the thinning of the veil between here and elsewhere, the community coming together, and our shared fascination with the spooky, the unknown and the playful. From the bonfires of Samhain to the jack-o'-lanterns on suburban porches, the journey of Halloween reveals how customs evolve, and how a festival can travel from sacred ritual to global pop culture phenomenon. Thank you for watching.